Good morning, it's Ada Sparks here with a word of hope. If you've ever watched the movie Wizard of Oz, throughout the entire movie, they are absolutely terrified of this wizard. When Dorothy comes before him, they're all trembling and they're so afraid of this wizard and his boom, big, scary voice, and there's lightning and there's scary noises. And then, of course, the smallest among them, this little tiny, afraid dog, much like my little goofy dog, goes over there and pulls back this curtain. And lo and behold, what do we get? Some little wimpy old man. There's someone behind the curtain that's just pulling levers and intimidating and making a bunch of noise, because that's what bullies do. They have no power. And so they just intimidate. That's usually what bullies do. They have no power at all, and so they just use fear tactics. And this week, and the last couple of weeks actually, but especially this past week, the enemy has just done that very thing. My husband and I, and I'm sure you've even noticed in my words of hope, I've just been so broken down. I spoke with a friend last night and she said, "How are you doing?" I said, "Well, not real great. I'm better tonight, but if you had called me yesterday, I have felt so defeated." She said, "You? Ada Sparks? Defeated?" "No, never." And I said, "I know, right? Like, I'm never defeated. Not because of me, but because of the power in me that I stay tapped into." But yesterday I began to get this revelation that this is just the enemy yanking my chain. And when I began to realize that, it made me angry. I was like, no, devil, you have no power to get in my head and to start bombarding me with all of this intimidation, and I will not let you play these games. You know, the scripture says in Isaiah chapter 14, verse 17, verse 16 actually. I'm going to start with verse 15 because I love verse 15. Verse 15 says, "You will be brought down to hell and the sides of the pit." 16 says, "They that shall see you shall narrowly look upon you." They're going to have to squint their eyes just to even see you. And they're going to consider you and they're going to say, "Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that shook kingdoms? Is this him? That's him. He's the one that made me feel defeated. He's the one that had me upset all week. He's the one." What was I thinking? And if he is keeping you up at night and he's worrying you and stressing you out, go read the book. He's a man behind the curtain creating a bunch of noise. He's nothing. So often we hand over our dreams, our hopes, and our hearts to a wimpy little puny punk behind a curtain. He's been exposed. You've been exposed. So be wise, my friend, not afraid.